I think I lost you. Was it my audio or was it your audio? I
Yeah,
forget.
I'm not sure what it was, but yeah, we're back live. So just a couple of questions coming in for you. So these stable coins, John, people have this speculation: how much are they insured, and like, do they really have that kind of backing in gold, in cash, in the banks, or not? So nobody really know. What are your speculations, and what are your thoughts on that?
Yeah, so it's a very good question. It's a very relevant question. As they say, beauty is in the eye of the beholder. I would say the same thing. I think stability is certainly in the eye of the beholder in this case, and that's kind of how the game is played, right? I'm certainly not giving you advice for investment, but I certainly believe, what is fiat currency after all? It's based on trust. It's based on faith. And the same way, we will see, I believe, a whole host of stable coins clearly based on trust as well.
Yeah. So just one thing, like, is it that doesn't that defeat the purpose of trust when we don't like we know all the transactions of Bitcoin? Like, isn't that completely opposite what stable coins are offering? We don't know like how much they have in reserves, how much backing they have, what kind of trustees they have. I feel like it defeats the purpose of trust, and like instead of having a decentralized ledger, they are very centralized.
So again, it's a very good question. I would say from a very pragmatic perspective, Anupam, in practical terms, there are degrees of decentralization. We can argue again, obviously
Mm.
going back to algorithms for consensus and how much mining capacity, somebody or some entity can obviously manage and control. It's degrees of trust. But on the flip side, for me, what these stable coins can do is truly make this mainstream to the extent where the next wave of consumers, users, are able to see this as the way life is, as opposed to how it will be. We always talk about the future and how things will be, but this, could become the way things are, as is, right? That's for me the opportunity. With that said, yes, you are right. We will see some failures, of course, much like any economic venture. We will see some fantastic success stories, but at the end of it, I believe we will come out for the better. We will certainly come out stronger. And equally, for me, for folks in the audience, think about the economic implications. That is my key takeaway here. Yes, we will use them, obviously, as consumers, as users, and so on and so forth. But think about the economic implications. We're going to see some mega economic modes in the coming years.
Absolutely. Yeah. We'll just take one question from the audience. Hi,
Hi,
Ankur.
hello, hi. So
Hey,
I,
Uncle.
yeah, hi, John. So this might be my last question for the day. And before I ask you, John, I really want to congratulate Anupam on having conducted such a great session today.
Yeah, thanks.
Uh, yeah. So my question to you, John.
Anupam, I could not hear the audio. Would you mind please sharing the
Uh,
question?
ca- um,
Am I audible
can you
now?
hear us, John?
I can hear you, but I could not hear Ankur,
Ankur,
unfortunately.
can you speak now?
Am I audible, John?
Okay, you can speak the question, then I'll let John know what the question is.
Yeah, sure.
Thank you.
Sure. So my question to John is that what is the one, or let's say top three things missing from stable coins at this moment, which should be incorporated in the future?
So his question is like, what are the top three things in your opinion that are missing from stable coins right now that can be incorporated in the future?
Oh, it's a superb question. Absolutely. I mean, the on ramp very clearly, I think, is something that needs to be worked on. Unless you're an aficionado or an enthusiast, it's certainly not that easy for the common man or the common woman. Secondly, in terms of consumption scenarios, being able to make it mainstream the way we talk about a Venmo or a PayPal and so on. Making this, I believe, is a second key feature. And the third one, I think we're going to see more and more notions of loyalty. Being able to reward users who work more extensively at consuming and using these stable coins, that I believe will be the clincher to create this mass amount of support. The same way, we saw the Mastercards and the Visas and so on earlier create this momentum.
All
So
right.
third point being something like staking rewards.
Your third point being something like staking rewards.
That's correct. Being able to essentially create affinity, being able to create loyalty, to create a user base that is very much committed to preserving the system, if you will. I mean, we see in the early days of the credit card ecosystem, right? The Visas and the Amexes and the Mastercards and so on. And so we've seen each wave create this affinity. I believe we have not seen that yet. So between the on ramp, between mass consumption scenarios and certainly some notion of loyalty or affinity, this will become as commonplace as pretty much any other mechanism. And I'm a big believer. And for me, this is a mission. It will
Oh,
happen, and I would say it is happening as we speak. To be more accurate.
right, right, right. Thank you.
Yeah. Thank you, Ankur.
Thank
John,
you.
is there something we should know about Neo's next week's launch?
Oh, thank you. Yes. So yes, we are announcing a slew of products next week. In New York as part of the consensus events. So the thing that we are pushing for, Anupam, is one thing. Developers, and I know there are millions of developers in India, obviously
Yeah.
watching. So for us, making this mainstream. In the past, other chains have made this complex. You need these high priests who have to come in and bless the smart contracts and so on and so forth. For me, everybody, any developer using C Sharp, Java, Go, Python, using the tools of your choice, VS and VS Code and so on, be able to build a smart contract in 5 minutes. And that's what we have done for Neo. So thank you. Would certainly love to have people play with it, give me feedback. Please ping
Absolutely.
me anytime. I would love to hear from you. Don't hesitate. Send me a note, and very happy to follow up the discussion as well offline. Thank you.
Absolutely. Thank you so much, John. I'll see you backstage, please. Yeah.
Thank you. Thank you very
Thanks.
much.